Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 8, Episode 53, overall 438 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, electric vehicles, and Cadillac's products as well. You can give the dealership a call at 519-824-0210, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, the home of Southern Talk and Sports, weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope everyone is doing well on this. I can't believe it's already Thursday, October 3rd. 2024. We're only a couple weeks away from our Canadian Thanksgiving here in Canada on Monday, October 14th. And I have a special guest today, and this is her first time on my show. Her name is Courtney Nicole. She serves as the marketing and social media coordinator for the Underground New England, a nonprofit group dedicated to eradicating human trafficking across Connecticut in the New England region. And we're going to bring her on right now and talk a little bit about herself and her role with the Underground New England. Good afternoon, Courtney. How you doing?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you're very welcome, and I really appreciate you coming on today, my 438th episode.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you. And we've met on we met on LinkedIn, about a year ago, I guess, I believe.
Yeah, a couple years ago, we met through LinkedIn. So just a little background story. For 15 years, I ran a marketing agency, and back in November of 2023, the Lord had said, it's time to take my skills, talent, and knowledge to the nonprofit sector. So that's why I decided to go and serve the Underground. And it has been an amazing opportunity to work alongside them, especially with, something I'm very passionate about, anti-human trafficking. So I got to be introduced to them 12 years ago, believe it or not, Chris. So I knew about them 12 years ago. And I just decided to reach out, this year and say, how can I help? Because I felt the tug on my heart to be able to really take a stand, considering that the human trafficking has just exploded. And we could talk more about that.
Wanted to ask you this before we get into some questions. Do you find the human trafficking, not just in the States, but around the world, has maybe even gotten more with social media, the internet? And do you find the 2 years we had the pandemic, might have increased it as well?
Yeah. So social media, the reason why it is very prevalent on social media is because, let's face it, we have our cell phones in our hands. We're behind a screen 24/7. Even, children who are in school are given a laptop, or they are playing video games, or nowadays people want to become influencers. So you see them all over the internet. So the internet is actually the easiest access to be able to have somebody, be a victim of human trafficking. And we do a ton of awareness events. We're looking to actually do more virtual awareness events. We just did one and it was phenomenal. So they are being there. Let's face it this way, right? You take theft, for example, whether it's credit card theft or identity theft. these individuals who are sitting behind a computer and have nothing better to do, they are 10 times smarter than us. So our job as an organization is to remain ahead of them and become a little bit smarter. So then that way we can have the education to be able to give to, children and parents and adults. We primarily work with adults, but, people are getting trafficked, as babies, sadly.
The Underground New England was founded what in 2007.
Yep.
Courtney, can you tell us a little bit more about this organization that was founded in 2007, and how did you first get involved with them or know about this organization?
Sure. So, 12 years ago, we got started, and being in business, I had a mentor and a coach named Danny Johnson, and she was talking about human trafficking. Now, I did not even know anything existed about human trafficking. I was like blindsided. A lot of people don't even know it exists. And she was just talking about it, and it totally wrecked me. And I said, all right, I need to do some searching to figure out what is there that my community and state is doing. So I went online and I started searching, and I came across the Underground New England, and I was connected to the founder. And she ended up just basically praying in an area here in our state where it is highly prominent. And she just started praying, and people started literally locking arms with her and saying, what can we do to be able to go to our legislators? What can we do to be able to educate people? And what can we do to be able to rescue the individuals that have been silenced? So she ended up doing her first awareness event, and I ended up attending. And at that event, there was a survivor talking about what she had gone through. And when you hear these stories, and we do have them available on our website and through our YouTube channels and social media, when you hear these stories, you can't help but get involved. So I learned about them then, and just learned about awareness, learned what to do when I see something that is suspicious, to be able to call the hotline. There is hotlines and stuff like that we encourage people to call if they see something. And that is how I learned about the underground.
And I have on my graphics the information a little bit more about it as well. I wanted to ask you this as well, Courtney, before we get into some more questions as well. Human trafficking, people just think it's just one or two professions, but it can be in any profession and in the industry nowadays.
Mhm. Yeah. So sadly, like I said, evil will do whatever it has to in order to get to the next victim. That's just sadly the facts, right? If somebody has an interior motive in mind, they will do whatever they have to. So whether it is a sporting arena, whether it is college campuses, whether it's somebody at the bus stop, I mean, we are seeing it happen everywhere. We've had a couple cases where kids were abducted from camps and things like that. Now, that's not to scare people from doing those activities. It's just to make people be on the alert to keep yourself safe and know what to do when you see something. It's happening when people go and they rent an Airbnb or go to a hotel. It is happening everywhere. So you have to understand what to look for. You have to be on the alert. And especially if you are a single woman, you need to use a little bit of wisdom as to where you go, when you go, how you go, and what to do should something happen. Even in the case of running, a business, people can come and they can say, hey, well, I want to be able to partner with you. And you have to know how to read between the lines. We see, and I'm sure you see, Chris, all the time, where people will put something on somebody's windshield on a car, and it's to lure people in, whether it's $100 bill or whatever. So you have to be vigilant in order to understand those signs. So the underground makes it very, prominent to be able to do those awareness events so people know the signs as to what to look for and to remain safe.
Courtney, what are the most typical for those that are watching this live stream and on my audio platforms in WQE 99.1 FM to look out for the most common ones?
So the most common things I would say is when, human trafficking, just to be able to back up in case people don't understand, because I get this question all the time. What is human trafficking? Well, human trafficking, because people say, okay, well, does it have to do with somebody being a prostitute? Does it have to do with pornography? Human trafficking at the very basic is somebody being forced into sexual activity in exchange for money or goods. So, one of the things that we often see is that a lot of people will end up having a lot of cell phones because they're trying to be able to contact all these individuals that have lured them in. A lot of times people will say, oh, well, I just, want to support you in X, Y, and Z. There will be exchange for a cell phone. There will be exchange for food. There'll be exchange for clothing. So it's somebody who wants to nurture you in a particular way in exchange for something. So some of the signs that you would want to look for is, hey, well, I will give you X if you do this. And that's really the biggest sign that we end up seeing. You know, that's basically it, right? Whether you are a college student or somebody wants to say, hey, well, if you do X, Y, and Z, I will make sure that your tuition's paid for. Really crazy stuff that we just think, okay, well, maybe it's harmless at eyesight, but that's how they lure you in. They're always going to try to give you something in exchange for what they're looking for.
I was just reading on your website too. 43% of your victims are below the poverty level.
Mhm.
60% of your victims suffer from financial abuse, and 40% have criminal records, and 73% wanted trusted help. So, for somebody that's watching this show live stream on audio, and they're involved in this, and they want to get out of it, what's the best way for them to seek out help?
So, here's the thing. If you are in this, please seek out help. Please do not feel like you are trapped, regardless of what they say. So, a lot of times people are very scared to go to the police. So that's why we have organizations like ourselves on hand. There is the human trafficking hotline. I don't know what the number is in your country or your specific region, but we can definitely give you the hotline for us here in the States. So that is something that we recommend everybody and anybody to call. We could provide you, lists of organizations. It's on our website of different people that have partnered with us that are on the front line working to be able to help rewrite these survivor stories. So I'll give you an example, Chris. Last week, I had gotten a call from a woman whom I know just because of all the church activity that I'm in. And she had said to me, my foster daughter, when I originally found her, was running out of a motel screaming, and she knew she was being trafficked. And she said, get in the car. Boom. You see a lot of those types of videos where people will be giving, certain signals and signs in restaurants. You see a lot of those videos where people are writing certain things down. You see where somebody is calling the police and they are saying, I would like to order a pizza, right? So there's those little things that people, are doing in order to get the help that they need, basically, quote unquote, talking in code. So there's things like that. And the point being with my friend is that she's now in her 20s and she's sadly gotten lured back in. And so she does not want the help because they are manipulated into thinking that if they do reach out and get the help, that worse things will happen to them, whether they get, we'll come after you and we'll kill you, or we'll go after your family type of a thing. So most people who are in that don't know how to get out. And I am here shouting from the rooftop, please, please reach out to somebody, an organization that is trained, and we will help get you to resources.
How many members do you have or staff with the Underground New England?
So just to backtrack, so our founder decided to be able to step down in the end of last year, November, December, and we ended up bringing on an executive director, and the executive director restructured our program to be able to make sure that we bring each individual from exiting to long-term independent living. And that is a 2-year program. So we just restructured that. And one of her biggest things was we have got to get mentors on the ground full time that can work with these individuals. So we currently have 2 full-time individuals that are out in the field. We have a executive director. We have a programs director. There's me who does the marketing and coordinating, and we have an individual that does all of the accounting and funding and handles all of our finances that are coming in as far as donations. So we are a small organization, and we are looking to grow. We're looking to be able to get more mentors as we are able to raise more funds, because the number of people that are calling and the people that are on our wait list, just you can't sleep at night because the numbers increase and there's not enough people able to help them.
Currently, how many people do you have on your wait list approximately?
So we currently have 15 people. And like I said, I mean, I just got a call last week, and sadly she doesn't want to be able to get the help. And I just kept encouraging her, please let our trained staff work with her. We don't ever force anything on anyone. We're here just to be able to provide information. But my phone rings all the time. So our wait list just continues to grow. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a synopsis, that program that I was talking about, which is a 2-year program, we work with both men and women adults. We do not work with children. We do partner with other organizations. Should somebody call and say, I have a child, and we send them that way. We refer them to somewhere else. But we do work with both men and women. We are a Christian nonprofit organization where we lead with biblical principles and prayer and things of that nature. And so that program costs $24,000 for one person to go through. Now, just because they graduate doesn't mean we're like, see you later. No, we stick with them and we make sure, that they're doing well. We do, monthly check-ins, we send birthday gifts and things like that so that they never get lured back in.
The Underground New England, obviously, it covers the New England area,
Mhm.
obviously Connecticut, but it covers what, New York State and Massachusetts as well?
Yeah, I mean, we will travel pretty much anywhere. We are looking to expand and things of that nature. So, when we do an event, we basically are targeting a 50-mile radius. So, if we're doing an event that is at, the northern or southern tip or east or west tip and goes into another state, that is within a 50-mile radius. So, currently, we are doing a comedy show that's coming up on November 2nd, and it's hosted in Wethersfield, Connecticut. So there are certain towns going into Massachusetts that we are targeting. So our goal is to be able to, do awareness wherever. And again, we just did a huge online awareness event where 100 people showed up and they were coming in from everywhere. The goal eventually is to be able to have, and train other like towns and cities within different states to be able to do what we're doing.
Courtney, how can people purchase tickets for this comedy event coming up? Is there a website or a phone number for those who are watching this?
Yep, and we'll link it in the description. So, our website is the Underground NE. NE stands for New England, so the undergroundne.org. If you click on the events tab, you will see a flyer right there, and you just click on it. You can purchase tickets if you are in the Connecticut area. We're also doing business sponsorships if you are in the local area. Now, if you're not a business or you don't live locally, but you're like, hey, Courtney, you know what? I love what you're doing. Not many people work with women and men. Most people just work with women. We're very unique in the sense we work with men. And that's another question we get, are men trafficked? Absolutely. Absolutely, they are. So you can make a donation. You could become a monthly sponsor. These individuals are needing food because they literally come with the clothes off their back. They need clothing. They need a safe place to live. They need medical attention. They need a cell phone in order to reach out when, they need rides and transportation. They need a lot of things that we often take for granted. So you can make a donation. And if you are not an individual that has the resources to make monetary gift, I always say there are things that you could do for free. One, it just takes your time, and that is pray. Just pray. We need your prayers. It is very hard to see the things that happen to individuals just because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time and didn't know. And it's heartening not to be able to help those that are on the wait list. So we need your prayers. You can always go to our social media, the Underground New England, and you can follow us. You can share our content. We have a ton of awareness material. And if you're like, hey, we would love to do a webinar, even if we're not in, Connecticut, we can do a webinar with a group of people and give you this material so that way you and your community can remain safe. So there's always something that you could do. You could always volunteer your time. So it's either monetary or it is of your time, whichever works best for you.
All right. Hey, Courtney, I have a video from the Underground New England's YouTube channel. I've already subscribed. Everyone out there, please subscribe. And the video is called Adult Mentoring Program and Radar, pardon me. And it's from your program director, Amy. And do I have permission to play it here?
Absolutely. That is our
Just
program.
let me know if you
Yep.
Just let me know if you can hear the audio okay. Give me 1 second and we're going to get this video started. This is again courtesy of the Underground New England's YouTube channel. Please subscribe.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amy, the director of the Adult Mentor Program at the Underground New England. That might be new to some of you. It's a program that we relaunched in May, and I hope to be sharing stories with you in the coming weeks and months of what we've been seeing on the ground with the clients, the wins, the struggles, and everything in between. So I wanted to start off today by just sharing a quick little story with you about Devin. We have, unfortunately, a very long waiting list, and she was the most recent individual that we were able to intake. Stay tuned until the end because I also want to talk very quickly with you about a survey that we're doing and give you a little insight into why we're doing that. And I also want to share some news that's coming up. So the story of Devin, when Devin came to us, she really didn't have very much. She's on the verge of losing housing and doesn't really have food, clothes, kind of all of those basic necessities that we take for granted. And what I want to share with you is what the person who referred Devin to us emailed us after our mentors met with her. And if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading the email to you. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. The two women your mentors met with today reached out to say thank you for connecting them to the Underground. I was particularly taken aback with Devin. She needed to be told and have it acknowledged that she was trafficked and that what was done to her was horrific and not her fault. It didn't matter how many times I told her. She needed to be seen and heard, and your people did this for her. Her journey to freedom began today. Her healing began today. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, That's just the kind of email that keeps us going on tough days. And let me tell you, there have been some tough days recently. And I hope to share those tough days with you in the future. But I wanted to start us off today on a note of hope. The other thing I want to share with you is that we're doing a quick survey, and it would mean the world to us if you would just take 2 minutes and fill that survey out for us. If you've heard us talk before, you know how important community is to us. I spend my days trying to build community for our clients, but I also want to build a community with each of you, because we could not win this fight and to eradicate human trafficking without each and every one of you. You are so essential to us. And so we would love it if you would take 2 minutes to let us get to know you a little bit better. Who you are, why you're here, how did you get to know about the Underground? Why are you sitting and listening to me talk right now? What do you hope to get from the newsletter? What do you hope to do? What do you want to do with us? And what would be useful to you in the future? So if you would take 2 minutes to fill that out, that would be so helpful to us in getting to know you and how we can work with you in this mission. And we also are trying to grow our presence on social media so that we can share our mission with others. And so we wanted to make this a little bit of a game, but also just wanted to take a moment and give a gift back to you guys to say thank you for everything that you do for us. So we're running a raffle, and the rules are in the email. So take a moment to look at those, and then follow us on social media, fill out the survey, enter the raffle. And thank you. We wouldn't be here without you. We wouldn't be able to help men and women like Devin. So thank you so much for empowering us to walk alongside them on their journey to freedom.
Thank you, Courtney, for letting me play this video, and just thoughts on this video done by your program director, Amy.
Yeah, so basically she's our program director, and she oversees the programs and oversees our mentors. So like I said, we have 2 full-time mentors that are on the ground, and they are working directly with our survivors, rewriting their story. So Amy has a lot of hats. She does a lot of things, and we are really hoping that we're going to get these people off of our wait list as we do this campaign and moving forward with the different events we have coming up to raise those funds.
Can you tell us a little bit about your video that you just posted on YouTube recently for the Underground New England as well?
Yeah, so that is mainly about our comedy show that's coming up. It gives a little background about the Underground, how I did get involved. And like I said earlier today, there is always something you can do. If this is tugging on your heart, there are different ways that you can help us spread the word, right? You can go ahead and you can make a monetary gift and become a monthly sponsor. We need more individuals that are willing to take the stand and saying enough is enough. There are tickets that you could buy to our comedy show. You could become a business sponsor if you live here in Connecticut and want to get your business in front of over 500 people. And I talk about what the different sponsorships entail, as well as a link to them. You want to make a one-time donation, that's fine. Listen, every little bit helps. Even if it's $10 and you're like, this doesn't seem like a significant gift, it does. I mean, that literally gets somebody a bus pass to be able to make it to a doctor's appointment. So every little bit helps. If you can't give monetarily, then you can give of your time, like I had mentioned. And all of those details are in that video. If you are like Courtney, this is something where we want to be able to do an awareness event, then please reach out. We will go ahead and organize that. We can do it virtually for you as well, even though we're not necessarily in your backyard. There are other organizations just like us who provide these resources that can help. Our job is to be able to say, these are the signs, these are the warnings, this is what you need to do to make sure you and your family are safe.
What other events do you have during the year for fundraising, and do you guys have a goal for the year ideally you'd like to reach?
Yeah, so right now, I want to see $360,000 come to us, because that will take care of every single survivor on that list. So right now we have the comedy show that's coming up. We also have a pizza party that's coming up. So the restaurant is basically giving us a certain percentage of items sold during that time. And we'll be doing a raffle. We'll be selling the comedy tickets there as well. We have a paint night party that's coming up. So a group of people come together. We do paint. We do what is it? Hors d'oeuvres, appetizers, and things like that. We just did a really cool event. It's called Light Up the Dark. It was our third or fourth year. I can't even keep track anymore. Where we went into the community and a whole bunch of nonprofit organizations got together and just was there to be able to provide resources. And we raised over $4,000 just that one day. So we do that. What else do we do? We're going to probably do a gala coming up next year. So there's just a different ton of events and a different variety of events to be able to meet each person's need. And we're always open to hearing ideas and suggestions should you have any.
I would like to, maybe not this year in 2024, but maybe in 2025, maybe to come out to Connecticut and maybe meet some of you guys and try to help out, because I think what you're doing is great. And I'm still learning about all this. And I really appreciate your time for coming on, Courtney. Do you have time for a few more minutes and a few more questions?
Absolutely. We would love to have you if you want to grab a group of people and come into Connecticut and just learn and see how we can continue to just spread awareness. I think that would be fantastic.
And this show being live streamed on audio in Georgia, hopefully it help one person, two people, or how many people as well. And it's important to talk about. I wanted to ask you this, Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
How much of an impact has your program had as of January 2024?
My goodness. So we have, it's hard for me to know because I'm the marketing person, and yes, I should track the numbers. That I would have to get back to you on, to be honest. I know that we're working currently with a lot of different, individuals. So we will work with people who our first priority is to work with people who are actually getting trafficked right now. So that call that ended up coming in last week, that was top tier priority. We also have people who have come to us and said, well, I was trafficked and, I don't want to end up getting back in. I got out. I'm safe now. I don't want to get back in. Or people from many years ago who were trafficked and still have, PTSD and depression and things like that. But if you do go to our website, there is an actual annual report that talks about the numbers in greater details because I can't memorize everything. So yeah, that is all on our website.
Now, out of all your preventative measures, what is the biggest one? Would it be awareness?
Awareness is huge because our goal is to be able to end this, right? We don't want to see the numbers continuing to increase. We want to see the numbers continuing to decrease. And the only way that's going to happen is for more people to take an initiative and to take a stand. So, our money doesn't just go towards being able to help those that have been trafficked. Our money also goes toward what can we do to prevent this? What can we do to be able to make sure we're not going to have another, statistic of somebody that has been trafficked or has passed away due to human trafficking, or, sadly, these people are going to jail because they're being forced to do illegal activity. They are, sometimes coming to us because they have a drug addiction. There's a lot going on. So the more education we can pump out and put a stop to it, the better. So I would say our pulse primarily is on the education. But we have to, at the end of the day, work with the clients, right? We can't just give awareness if we're not putting there, somebody will slap a Band-Aid onto something and consider something a Band-Aid effect. We're looking for an inner wound. Let's cut it out at the root and pluck that sucker out and stop it from bleeding once and for all.
What are some stereotyping? What are some stereotypes of human trafficking?
People stereotype for anything, right? They'll stereotype and they'll say, oh, well, it's, the underprivileged community, or it's, this race or that race or this ethnicity, or, you know, um, I mean, everybody wants to stereotype, right? The fact of the matter is they're going after everyone and anybody. And I didn't say this before, but it typically happens with somebody you already know. It typically happens when you look at the numbers. It typically happens with somebody you already know within your inner circle. Somebody will try to be able to do something to a loved one. So, you could stereotype all day all day long. It's happening. You could say it's happening in the sporting arena, it's happening in Hollywood, it's happening at an amusement park, it's happening everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go, what you look like, what skin color you have, what ethnicity, how much money you make, what kind of car you drive or house you live in. It doesn't matter.
And when you talk about human trafficking, everybody just normally assumes it's all females, but it can be it can be transgenders, it can be gays, it can be
Yeah.
men as well too.
Yep.
Anybody.
Anybody. you know um and sadly, the other thing is that it happens in broken homes, because when you are, you know do not have a father figure in your home, you're looking for somebody to take care of you. You're looking for somebody to romance you, and that is how it starts. So, we don't try to be able to say, okay, well, we want to seg, like you said, we don't want to be able to point out that it's happening with race, but when we look at the numbers, yes, it's happening in low privileged community. Yes, it's happening where there's a lot of drugs, because what will happen is they will then go into human trafficking in exchange for drugs. They will go into human trafficking in exchange for money because it's low income housing. They will go into human trafficking in exchange to be able to have housing. So, when you look at the numbers, those all, come into effect, but we don't ever like to sector one thing and say, oh, well, it's only that. No, it is happening with people who have, post-traumatic stress, because they have so much stress that they're looking for an exit way out. It's happening because they're in a broken home and they need the love. So we always put a reason as to why it's happening there, versus just trying to say, well, it's only happening in that sector. No, it's happening pretty much everywhere.
One thing, Courtney, I wanted to also bring up to mental health. I find
Yes.
mental health programs here in Canada have been cut and reduced, and I'm assuming the same thing in the States. You're seeing more homeless people, which is another topic. I find mental health nowadays is diminishing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's there, but I will bring it up. Veterans. You see a lot of veterans who have, fought in the war, and they're homeless and they're not getting the medical attention that they need. That is one of our biggest issues here. Mental health crisis. You had asked earlier, have you seen an increase during the, pandemic and the shutdowns and things like that? And right now, here in the States on the East Coast, we have 16 of our food ports shut down. People are going nuts. It's an election year for us. People are going nuts. It's like one little thing happens and everybody goes nuts, right? The news will make people go nuts if you listen to it, right? Not to make it a political thing, it's just whatever the buzz is going on will make people nuts and cause a frenzy, right? So mental health awareness is something I stand for. I've struggled with it, myself and within my family, loved ones around me. And
Yeah.
the problem isn't lack of resources. The problem is the wrong information in the wrong hands. That's our problem here, is, not giving people the proper treatment and the proper resources that they truthfully need. That is our problem. We do have, great access to, healthcare and doctors and things like that. It's getting the right one who understands what you need. And that is something I'm very, very passionate about. I help a lot of people walk through the mental health crisis. And here in the United States, the pandemic made people have more of, mental breakdowns and things like that. So, sadly, our world as a whole is just not in a good place, but it is our job as, an organization, or my job as an individual, to be able to spread love, light, hope, and offer people prayer that are willing to accept it.
I also find communication has shrunk during the social media era. People
Mhm.
have not,
Oop, you're
don't get me wrong, talking is important, but I find nowadays too, sorry, I
going
apologize
in
for
and
that.
out.
I
Yeah.
find talking is really important, but listening to people can help too. I apologize, everybody. Just a Wi-Fi issue here. Hopefully, we can get through the show. But I just wanted to say,
Yeah,
Courtney,
no, you're
I know
good.
talking's really important, but listening is just as important, if not more. And when people listen to people, that can help too. And
Yeah,
I find a lot of people that are having mental health issues or having troubles, they don't have anybody to talk to or listen to them and share their
absolutely.
frustrations and concerns.
Well, and that's huge. You nailed it right on the head, because a lot of people that go into the human trafficking is, I'm alone. I need somebody to listen to me. I need somebody to take care of me. And we see that often a lot. Is we just want some, we as humans are need nurturing. We need love, right? Um, there's some people that want to spend time by themselves, but deep down inside, they still need to feel loved at the end of the day. And one of the things, as a Christian, as somebody who owns a ministry, I'm always reaching out to say, is somebody okay? Are you okay? It takes like literally this much of your time to reach out and ask if somebody is okay. So I encourage those that are listening, reach out to your loved ones, your friends. Are you okay? Can I come over, give you, have a cup of coffee together, sit and listen. I remember, we bought my grandparents' house 3 years ago. And I just always remember my grandmother having an open door policy. There's always going to be a pot of coffee on the table. You need to come over and talk. And that is what my husband and I have established in our home. We have an open door policy. You are welcome to come in our home. You are welcome to call us. And we let our friends and family know we are here for them. We are here to listen. And I think that even if somebody's not open enough to talking, just knowing that you're there, knowing you reached out is what's important. So please reach out to your loved ones, let them know that you care, give them a hug. It doesn't cost anything but your time.
And that's why I was happy, Courtney, to have you on as a guest today because I have done a show on mental health and U.S. veterans and human trafficking. I didn't realize how prevalent, how big it's become across the
Yeah.
world. And I really appreciate you giving us some time today to come on and tell us about your organization. And before we wrap this up, can you just tell our audience about your volunteer opportunities with the Underground New England and what's the best way people can be involved? And can
So
they?
just to give you guys this to end before I go into that, is you said that you didn't understand what it was about. Friends, let me leave you with this statistic. It is a $150 billion industry. It has over exceeded drug lords and all of that. It's a $150 billion industry. So if you can just only fathom that, and it rattles your cage and you want to do something and you live within the Connecticut area, and even if you don't, say you're in Canada and you're
Apologize. Sorry about that.
that's okay. If you are in Canada and you're like, Courtney, I raised my hand, I want to volunteer. I encourage you, please research nonprofits. And when I say research, and make sure they're doing the right thing, make sure they're using their resources properly, and see how you can reach out and help. Okay. If you want to volunteer, then you can go to our website. Again, the undergroundne.org. There is a volunteer tab. You can go ahead and fill that out, and we will reach out to you. One of our people, probably Lori, will reach out to you and just see if you're a good fit to be a volunteer for our organization. But again, if you really want to help in your own community, reach out to an organization like ours that is, the hands and feet out here battling this darkness.
And finally, what's a normal day like for you, Courtney, in being the social media coordinator and in marketing, and just thoughts on your role
Absolutely.
daily?
So a lot of people think, okay, well, she's just behind the screen. Yeah, I am. But I'm also taking calls like I took last week, because people, I say it all the time, it's not my people and my network that I've built up over the last 15 years. It is God's network, and I will utilize my network and the like you for having me on the show today to be able to spread this. Right. And it's, talking to people all the time. Oh my gosh, answering questions. So it's not a matter of just creating content, making social media look pretty. It's going on and doing videos like this. And it's making sure the content's getting in front of the right people and marketing our organization and taking a stand. So, the first thing is that you have to have a heart. And this organization has to just match the values, and it matches all the values that I have. And I will continue to the day that I die to talk about this horrific crime and those that I, honestly have passion about. So yeah, that's what I do.
And finally, gonna ask you this anyways. Do you find, I'm not gonna just stereotype the states. Do you find the governments in the world, around the world, should do more to eradicate human trafficking? Do you feel there's not enough being done?
Do
They
you
should be
want that?
playing.
You want my honest answer?
Yeah. Yes, please.
And it's hard for me to talk about this, but you have to do your due diligence in whom you choose to be able to bring in as leaders of our town, our states, our country, because let's just say not everybody is for Jesus and wanting to be able to be behind what we stand for. And sometimes those group of people are making it worse. That's all I'm going to say about that. So make sure you do your due diligence. And if there's somebody in office whom you don't like because you feel they're doing something wrong, you have the opportunity to take a stand. Don't go up on social media and make all this hoopla. That doesn't help nobody. Okay? Go out there and find a cause that you really like and be able to stand behind it and become the loudest voice that you can. That is how you make change.
And also, too, a strong support system as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. If you stand for something, get other people behind you. If it's something good, obviously. If it's something bad, then I ask that, you think twice about doing that. But get people behind you. You're not the only one that, has a heart for wanting to be able to end human trafficking or whatever the case may be. There's other things and crimes going on in the world that, need attention. There's just not enough people willing to step up and take a stand because they're afraid. If God's giving you the vision to be able to do something, step up and do it, please. Time is ticking.
And finally, Courtney, how can my audience contact the Underground New England on social media sites and their website?
So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we are growing our YouTube channel. Obviously, we have a website, we have a contact page on the website. You can contact us through our email, contact@theundergroundne.org. There is a phone number there that you can always contact. If you are in Connecticut and you feel that, oh my gosh, I know somebody, please send them to us. Just because we have a waiting list doesn't mean that we don't have other connections. Like I said, if somebody is currently being trafficked and they want out and they want the help, you become first on our list and we will get you to safety. All right. So please don't hesitate. Reach out. Connect with us on Facebook. You could always send us a message there or Instagram. And we are populating a ton of videos through our YouTube channel.
And finally, would people be allowed to contact you through LinkedIn as well?
Yes. So I have my own private LinkedIn account. I will say this. LinkedIn doesn't like when we step up and we talk about things that people want to label as political issues. And so my Facebook account, when I put up the event about the End the Wait campaign, it was down for a good day. So because of that, it doesn't mean that we're going to stop, but please reach out to me. My own personal LinkedIn page, you'll see the underground under it, but I, come from a background of being an agency owner and helping people with marketing. So you will see more of that on there than you will the underground, just because A, we have to keep our safety for ourselves, and B, I'm trying to keep my LinkedIn up there and not rattle anybody else's feathers. I hope I do rattle people's feathers, but not to the point where they're going to shut me down on there. So you can certainly reach out to me. You might not find a lot of information on the link on LinkedIn, but if that's the only way that you have to reach out, please feel free to do so.
All right. Well, Courtney, I want to say thank you so much for giving us over 50 minutes of your time today
Absolutely.
and sharing your story and about the underground New England and explaining to our audience about what human trafficking is and some of the signs. And if you give me a little bit of time this afternoon, Courtney, I will send you the video, the
Thank you.
audio, and I will break this down into reels and clips if you'd like to share on your social media pages or the Underground New England as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris, for your time. And I thank you for all of those that have listened. And I pray that if there's somebody out there that wants to either get involved or we're able to help rescue one individual, then Chris and I have done our jobs today.
Courtney, I want to say thank you so much again for coming on, and you have an open invite to come back on my show again in the future as well.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you so much, Courtney. Continued success in your fight and with the Underground New England. Have a great afternoon, and we'll be in touch soon.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, that was Courtney Nicole. She is the social media coordinator and marketer with the Underground in the Underground New England, a nonprofit group that is trying to eradicate human trafficking, which is not just in the States, but around the world as well. So thank you to Courtney Nicole for coming on here today. Before we wrap up season 8, episode 53, guys, the next Argo Bounce live audio show with co-host and producer Chris Pame and co-host Nick Small, Friday, October 4th at 7 p.m. Nick and I are going to break down the Argos 37-31 win over the Alouettes. The Argonauts have a bye week this week. Their next game is Friday, October 11th against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So me and Nick are going to break down the Alouettes Argos game and talk about Liam's performance as a field goal kicker, kicking 8 kicks, 8 field goals to tie a CFL record and break an Argo record. And we'll talk a little bit about news around the Canadian Football League as well. So Friday night, October 4th, 7 p.m., Argo Bounce live audio show with Nick and I. Hope you guys can tune in to that show. And also the next live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by BarryCullen.com on Saturday, October 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Brian Frank, from the Herd Chronicles. This will be his second appearance. Brian is a Buffalo baseball historian, and he also covers the Buffalo Bisons in the present and in the past. So Brian's going to come on, and we're going to talk about the 2024 Buffalo Bisons, the job that manager Casey Candell did developing players for their top major league team, the Toronto Blue Jays, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about Major League Baseball playoffs with Brian as well. So I'm excited to have Brian Franks on from the Herd Chronicles. Check out his website, herdchronicles.ca. Brian does a lot of interviews with current and former Bisons and Toronto Blue Jays as well. So Saturday, October 5th, 12 o'clock, Brian Frank will come on, and we're going to talk some Buffalo Bisons and some minor league baseball and the upcoming Major League Baseball playoffs. Speaking of Major League Baseball playoffs, we only have one game tonight, Game 3, the National Wild Card, Mets Brewers at 7:08. The winner of Game 3 of the Mets and Brewers will be taking on those Philadelphia Phillies in the National League Divisional Series. As for the American League, you have Detroit and Cleveland in the ALDS coming up Saturday in Cleveland at 1 o'clock. Then you have Kansas City Royals taking on the New York Yankees in the other American League Divisional Series. And then in the National League, one series is already confirmed. The San Diego Padres taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the winner of the Mets Brewers tonight will take on the Phillies on Saturday as well. So it's a great time of the year, guys, for the National Football League, CFL, college football. The NHL is starting up again. The OHL is back in action. And now we have the Major League Baseball playoffs. So a lot of great baseball. And the Detroit Tigers, what can you say? They swept the Houston Astros, and they are going to the ALDS for the first time since 2013. And what a job AJ Hinch and the Tigers have done. I don't necessarily agree with him putting Jackson Joby in the seventh inning yesterday, but you know what? AJ Hinch is unpredictable, and this Detroit Tiger team's a lot of fun. And I do think they can beat the Guardians. I think Cleveland will be the favorites in this series, being the AL Central champs. But the Tigers are playing with house money right now, and I'm looking forward to Game 1 Saturday at 1:08 at Progressive Field, Guardians and Tigers, and see if the Tigers can shock the world again and upset the Cleveland Guardians. And it's nice to see the Kansas City Royals have success, San Diego Padres. So there's 4 or 5 small market teams that are still playing, and who knows with the Milwaukee Brewers tonight, they're another small market team if they can upset the New York Mets as well. So looking forward to it. Mets Braves tonight, 7:08. Winner goes on, and the loser goes home. And NFL tonight, guys, we have Thursday Night Football. We have the 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Atlanta Falcons at 8:15 tonight on Thursday night Amazon Prime Time Football. And I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in an upset over the Falcons. I really like the way Tampa Bay's playing. They've already beaten the Lions in Detroit. They beaten the Eagles last week. And Baker Mayfield seems to be the quarterback that he was supposed to be when Cleveland drafted him. So I'm looking forward to that matchup as well. Before we wrap up this show, guys, as always, if you're looking to adopt, don't shop, check out the Cambridge and District Humane Society, 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, or visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. They're doing a 50-50 raffle, and you can get tickets through their website. And if you're looking to volunteer, you can do it through their website as well. Again, cambridgehumanesociety.org. And I really enjoy volunteering and fundraising down there. And their 2025 calendars should be out in the next month or so. And I'm going to be hoping to sell some calendars, $10 for their calendars, and the proceeds go to the Cambridge and District Humane Society as well. As always, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is hosted by Chris Palme. Yours truly is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Our radio station's website is WQEEFM.radio12345.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. You can also follow my website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. All my social media sites and all my work, digital work, is on that website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show again is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Gulf Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, guys, check out the all-electric Blazer EV LT. Lease from $283 bi-weekly. That's like $142 a week at 3.9% interest, with $2,750 down payment on an ultra low kilometer lease. Includes $5,000 in government rebates, and eligible Costco members again can receive $1,200 on select EVs. More details at barrycullen.com. You can also follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. I'm on there regularly and I produce a lot of content. So again, at Live with CDP, and hit that follow notification. And I want to say thank you to everyone for subscribing to my YouTube channel and from all my views. And if you haven't, check out Chris Palme Live with CDP Sports Talk on YouTube. Hit that subscribe and like notification. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com. They have basic free plans, professional plans like I have. And if you're a business, just check out StreamYard.com and contact their sales department for pricing as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. The audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and now available on Good Pods. So make sure you check me out on Good Pods and hit that subscribe notification. And make sure you check out Cameo.com. That's Cameo.com. Type in Chris Palme, and I'd be happy to do a personalized video message for you. And all the proceeds from my Cameo videos will go to my radio and media work as well. Finally, you guys can email Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpalme19@gmail.com, or you can text the show at 519-820-7188. Any comments, questions, suggestions, any feedback would be greatly appreciated as well. And again, I want to say thank you so much to my guest today, Cole. I want to say thank you again to my guest, Courtney Nicole from the Underground New England, for coming on today. You can check out their website at theunderground.org. And if you'd like to follow Courtney Nicole, you can follow Courtney on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/Courtney-Nicole1. So again, thank you to Courtney Nicole for coming on here. And I want to say thank you to everyone watching this live streamed and on my audio platforms, and to my audience listening to this show on WQEE 99.1 FM, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. I hope everybody has a great afternoon. Enjoy the Thursday night football between Tampa Bay and Atlanta at 8:15, and the Mets Brewers Game 3 at 7:08. And hopefully some of you can tune in to the next episode number 15 of the Argo Bounce Live Audio Show with Chris Palme, Nick Small, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. as we talk Argonauts and news around the Canadian Football League. And then Saturday, October 5th, 12 p.m., Brian Frank from the Herd Chronicles will be on to talk about the 2024 Buffalo Bisons and a little more baseball history in the city of Buffalo, and maybe a little bit about the upcoming divisional series in the American League and the National League. So again, thank you to Courtney and Nicole for coming on, and really want to say again thank you to everyone watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, episode 438 and counting. So I hope everybody has a great afternoon, great evening, and we'll see you back here Friday night at 7 p.m. for the Argo Bounce live audio show.